Well, hello and welcome to our Bible study time. Great to be with you. And we are going to be moving into Genesis 19 this time. We practically finished up with got a good portion of Genesis 18. Abram has the visitors. They speak of the promises. Sarah hears that, laughs, and we talked about that a little bit. Abram walks down the road with them, and we discover that the angels have come to check out Sodom and Gomorrah and the plains area there, and there's the talk of judgment, and we see Abram intercede into that and gets whittles down to 10 people. That's probably a very famous story for many of us. And so we move here in Genesis 19, and we'll see something, I guess we could say, truly frightening that's going to occur. The Lord is going to release judgment to an entire civilization, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities in the plains. But first, Scripture is going to make certain that we understand exactly why Sodom and Gomorrah is to be destroyed in the story here. With our last study, as I said, the Lord and Abraham have engaged in a lengthy and rather fascinating conversation concerning what was going to happen in the nearby region of Sodom and Gomorrah, where Lot and his family lived. And it all started when the Lord told them, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me. And if not, I will know. And that's Genesis 18, that's 20, 21 there. Abraham didn't, I guess we could say, did his best to intercede on Lot's and the city's behalves. But even he conceded in the course of the negotiations that if the evil running rampant in these cities had reached a point where less than 10 righteous people remained there, the spiritual atmosphere would simply be too ugly, too toxic to the rest of the world for it to be allowed to continue. And so our study begins by announcing that the Lord has sent these angelic messengers to Sodom to serve as his inspection team. And Scripture is about to tell us that these angelic messengers sent by the Lord were about to spend the night at Lot's house. And in that night they are going to see all they need to see. They're going to discover beyond any question that the outcry against Sodom was 100% true. And if anything, they will find that the outcry, in a sense, was grossly underestimated. Now, our text begins the angels. Now, just as a point of interest, I've shared some Hebrew words that I'm pronouncing in my country English here, which is probably very poor, but these angels were previously referred to in Hebrew as Anashim, but now their name has changed to Malakim, which means messenger angels, and so we see messenger angels that are just arriving in town. Scripture tells us 2 angels came to Sodom in the evening while Lot was sitting at the city gate. And Lot saw them and got up to greet them, bowing with his face to the ground. And that's Genesis 19:1. And so Lot immediately asked the Malakim, the angels, to spend the night at his house. And then continue on your way early in the morning. And that's 19:2. Isn't that interesting? Come to my house tonight, spend the night, and be on your way early in the morning. He obviously does not want them to see much of Sodom. He wants them out of circulation, out of town as quickly as he can get them out of town. Now think about this. We were just leaving a story where Abraham's sitting in his tent at the entrance of the tent, and he sees these angels. He sees God's representatives and God himself coming. And he goes out to greet them. And we're getting the same thing here with Lot. Lot goes out to greet them, I guess we could say just like Abraham did. But there's a huge difference in the heart attitude of this greeting. And in my mind, I see, in a sense, Lot wanting to get this over with. This quick, come to my house, so you don't see everything that's going on here. Let me get you out as quickly as I can, because he knows what will happen if they stick around. He knows his city very well. He's compromised with it a long time ago. He knows, however, that the Malachim, the angels, the messenger angels sent by the Lord, will not compromise at all. He knows that if the Malachim see what the city is like, well, if that happens, Sodom's toast. He knows that his wealth and his lifestyle will be in the Lord's toaster, so to speak, right there with the rest of the city. So he does not, under any circumstance, want that to happen. He just has too much invested in Sodom to let that happen. And so he wants to do something about that. He wants to help these messengers to get out as quickly as possible and avoid seeing as much as they can. So here, Lot, his interactions, in my mind, at least heart-wise, is very different from Abraham's. It might sound the same in a way. Come and have a meal with me. So Lot argues with the Malachim. This will not by any means be the last argument he has with them. He convinces them they should stay in his house rather than in the town square for the night. And Scripture say he urged them greatly, and they came in with him and entered into his house. He made them a meal and baked matzah, and that's the Hebrew word there, and they ate, Genesis 19:3. Now remember, these same Malachim visited Abraham's tent, and as I say, we might want to compare the difference of hospitality between Abraham and Lot that they received. The hospitality they received from Lot definitely takes them in and feeds them, but his motive and his enthusiasm, not to mention the menu he offers, is definitely kind of pales in comparison to what Abraham offered. Because Lot is said to have served matzah in our scriptures here. And remember it's unleavened bread. Do you remember where unleavened bread, where that came from? Do you remember Moses, as he's delivering the Israelites out of Egypt? They have to do a meal in haste. And so I think we're getting a hint here that Lot is preparing a meal without yeast, without waiting for it to rise. He doesn't want a long visit. He wants them out the door. And so he gives them unleavened bread to these angels, these messengers, in, I guess we say, in haste. And perhaps not, Lot just hastily threw together the quickest meal he could in an effort to keep these messengers, the Malachim, from wandering around town square and seeing what the city was like while dinner was cooking. It is, of course, really impossible to say if that's the case. That's just, right now, my imagination playing. Actually, I want to stop here today. I know it's a very short lesson, but we're moving into a huge event with the town folks coming to Lot's door, and it just, everything just falls apart. We see the depths of Sodom's perversion. and it may not be what we think it is, but certainly this is an area full of sin and ripe for God's judgment. And I wanted to spend time with you on that, and I think I'd like to stop here. We'll make this a huge lesson if not, but I want to take time for that specific event next week. And so we'll stop here, and I'll just invite you to read Genesis 19 for yourself maybe through the week, and we can be ready to jump into it. Lot's encounter, the angel's encounter, and God's judgment. Well, you have a blessed week. I hope to see you soon, and certainly hope to see you at Worship Sunday, either in the sanctuary or on the internet here. Blessings. Bye now.